Looky here. It is Friday. Here we are. No doubt. Friday night interview. I've been waiting for this. This lady is absolutely full of knowledge. Full of knowledge, man. Tonight we're going to be talking about something really, really interesting. And we tried to have a conversation with one of our Antarctica whistleblowers a while back about this. And didn't quite know a lot about it. Touched on it a little bit. But nevertheless, this lady, I'm going to tell you right now, Commander Anu, you guys you've heard her here before. She is going to... I asked her, I'm like, can you really talk about this for 2 hours? She said, yeah. So I've got some things here I've got printed off. We're gonna kick it with her tonight, and we're gonna take a very mystical, very wild journey with Admiral Byrd and Commander Anu to Agartha. You guys don't go anywhere. Share this broadcast. Share this podcast. Starting right now. Let's do this, Brainiacs.
What do you say, Brainiacs? You guys ready? It's time. It's showtime, brains. That's right. It's Matrix time. And it's go time. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let's go! Talk about ufology, conspiracy, controversy, and anything and everything that we can get into tonight. Let's go. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Get up, Brainiac! Yeah! It's definitely your show. Your show, and we appreciate you for being here. Buckle up, everybody. Welcome aboard.
Welcome to Crystal Cove and Mystic Charms, where magic meets the mundane and the extraordinary becomes everyday. Are you ready to gift yourself with the whispers of ancient power stones? To the feel and hear the echoes of our ancient past? Dive into a world where each pendant tells a story, where rare stones hold secrets known only to the universe itself. At Crystal Cove, our collection isn't just jewelry. It's a gateway to a realm of mysticism and wonder. Let the shimmering opal guide you through twilight dreams, or embrace the fiery energy of the sun with our exquisite amber pendants. Each piece, handcrafted by the hands of a true mystic who understand the language of the earth and the fire of one's heart. At Crystal Cove and Mystic Charms, we believe that every soul deserves to sparkle. Whether you seek solace in the calming embrace of amethyst or wish to dance with the vibrant hues of turquoise, our collection holds the key to unlocking your inner magic if you allow it to be so. Visit us today and discover the pendant that speaks to your soul. Crystal Cove and Mystic Charms, where the beauty of our amazing earthy realm meets the magic of the cosmos.
Alrighty, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on over here. Say hello to Miss Elima Yasmin, and this. Well, I know her now as Commander Anu. We've all had her here before. So, Alina, Miss Commander Anu, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a minute since I had you here, but I've got you here, and we are going to definitely talk about all kinds of things that I could not talk about with our other guy. I'll just say our other guy. It wasn't that he was lost on it, right? I think you said you watched that broadcast.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I was actually on it when the interview took
Oh
place.
yeah, that's right. I did.
And do you remember we were asking him about the University of Atlantis, South Pole?
I do remember. Yeah.
And that was the one that was actually designed by me. You know, I'm the architect. And it opened in January 2022.
What up, Lee? Hello, Miss Barbara. You know what? The Agartha. It is very the word Agartha. Whenever we mention it, everybody's like talks about woo woo, right? The mystical place of Agartha. It's supposedly, again, mythological, but it had to have had a start from somewhere. Do you know I did not print out the history of Agartha, but do you know, out of curiosity, do you know the history of it?
Well, in my opinion, it would have existed at the same time when planet Earth was created. So it's very likely that the beings who live there were actually there way before the human race existed.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Yeah, the beings who live in Agartha would have been living there, you know, before the human race existed.
I have a question that I don't even have printed out. All right.
Sure.
Okay. Before the human race existed.
Yes.
That goes and makes my mind say, Alima, Commander, question. Do these beings have anything to do with the creation of the Homo sapiens sapien that we are right now today?
No, well, personally, I don't believe that. You know, because, you know, my view is that God, yeah, as the understanding that people have of God, you know, created the human race. So I actually do believe that Adam and Eve existed, but it wasn't completely as stated in the book of Genesis, because I've got the Gnostic view, is that Adam was created in what we call heaven, and Sophia, who's like the goddess of wisdom, actually breathed life into him.
You go.
So I've got the Gnostic belief. But what's interesting about Adam and Eve is that, of course, you know, people can only guess, you know, where the Garden of Eden was. But there is actually a belief that the Garden of Eden was actually Agartha.
I've heard that. I've definitely heard that. I've heard that throughout the years. But we're talking. See, whenever we talk about Agartha, we talk about Shambhala. These again, these are just. It goes right along with saying I know this. We're gonna talk 186 dimensional woo woo for a second, but there's something to the mythology, right? Like I said, there's something on to like the Hopi prophecy, right?
Yeah.
There's something about the Cherokee nations talking to the wind spirits, right? All of that shit is mythology, is or mythos as well. It is just things passed down. I wonder in my own mind, okay, because there really is no, in other words, we can't go to the Internet of Things and say, "Hey Google, show me Agartha." It's all it's knowledge. It's knowledge passed down from the lips of the master teachers, right, to the ear of the student, the initiate, or those who actually have the ability, the heart to get there. How the hell do you get there?
Well, it's invitation only. So, and that's why Admiral Byrd, who we'll be talking about this evening, actually ended up there. It wasn't planned, because what happened was he was in his aeroplane, and then he's looking down, and he saw that there was greenery, which is rather odd, when there's meant to be icebergs. And then he saw an animal.
The
And
mammoth.
yeah.
The
So, I
mammoth.
mean, initially he thought, is that an elephant? And then he realized, no, it's not an elephant, it's a woolly mammoth. And he's thinking, well, how can that be? Because they became extinct, millions of years ago.
Right.
And then there's more turbulence, and then he finds himself going through a hole into a cavern, and that's how he ends up in the Crystal City. So when he arrives, he's met by these people, who are tall with blonde hair, and they've got like a German accent, and they're saying to him, "Oh, welcome, Admiral Byrd. We've invited you here." So then they take him inside the city to meet, the ruler, who's called the Master, and the Master says to him, well, the reason we've invited you here is because we know that in the military, you're very high ranking. We know that you're a rear admiral, so and you've got a lot of influence. And we're very concerned about what the human race have been doing, particularly in regards to, nuclear testing, nuclear power stations. And we know that about the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And, we're very concerned that there's going to be, a nuclear war. So, because you're in the military, after our meeting, we'd like you to go home and then have a meeting with the Pentagon and then, pass on our message from us.
Mm-hmm.
So, he agreed to that. And, he wasn't just saying it, just to be polite, sort of, like people do. Yeah, sure, yeah, I agree with you and I'll pass on your message. So, anyway, he did actually go to the Pentagon, and they actually interrogated him for nearly 7 hours. And they said to him, well, look, this is like top secret security classification. And thank you very much for telling us,
Right, of
you
course.
did the right thing. But you can't tell the public this, because it's so highly classified. And even if when you've retired, from the military, this is still going to be classified. So you're never going to be able to tell anybody. So unfortunately, the message from the Master only went as far as the Pentagon and wasn't allowed to go to, the general public. So also he had to agree to it because he didn't have a choice.
Right.
So anyway, so he'd written a diary, and he told his wife and his son about it. And he said that, unfortunately, this is going to be kept secret, but I want it published after my death. So, his family agreed to do it. And in fact, that's what happened. It's said that his son actually published it when he died, and it was published in, 19 well, after or around, 1957. But I've heard a theory that it's not actually the real diary because there's some odd things about it. Because anyone who's read it, I myself have read it, will notice that the testimony doesn't say Antarctica, it says the Arctic. So that looks like, it's not the real diary. Because the thing is that in 1926, Admiral Byrd did actually fly to the North Pole. And that was before he'd ever been to Antarctica. But there's a conspiracy theory that while he tried to get to the North Pole and was actually flying, in the Arctic, there was a technical problem with the aeroplane, and it was losing fuel, so therefore it wasn't safe to continue flying. So there's a belief that he actually lied, to save his reputation and to save the reputation, of the American military, saying, oh, yeah, I flew to the North Pole. Because the guys he was on the mission with actually confessed, well, to be honest, he didn't. So anyway, his first expedition to Antarctica was, in 1928. So this famous one to Crystal City was actually his fourth expedition.
See,
And I'm not sure if everyone actually realizes that. And even after that, there was a fifth expedition, the one that was nicknamed Deep Freeze. And what that was about was that America decided that they wanted to set up a base in Antarctica. So, they went along there in 1955, to have a look round to find a suitable location to build a base. So I understand that's what became known as McMurdo Station, which is still there.
sure.
It's still very much, operational.
McMurdo, there's supposedly a lot going on at McMurdo Station that no one truly talks about. And that is against this is speculation, supposedly, blah blah blah, that there is holes in the ice down there. I've heard just over the hillside somewhere from McMurdo there is the portal. I've also heard that is where from around there where Admiral Byrd again flew into the side of. I got a picture here somewhere. Or is it? Yeah, right there, where this little picture would have became very, very relevant. So everything you're talking about has been documented. Literally, it has been documented. So what we know, Commander, from taking it from a woo-woo 186 dimensional doodlebot story, we now have facts, okay? And the facts are in a military base somewhere, locked under key, because like I believe what you believe. I believe that the diary of Admiral Byrd, okay, is not the authentic. I truly don't believe that. I also want to tell you that I live, it's crazy enough, I live in what's called the rubber city capital of the world here in Akron, Ohio. I am like 4 miles from, get this, somebody placed me right in the middle of this honeycomb. I have got Lockheed Martin ex-Skunk Works 4 miles from me to the east of me. I have got what's called Ravenna Arsenal, or an arsenal deposit, not even 12 miles from me to the east. South of me, like 300 miles, I've got Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Up in I mean, you can go on and on and on of different things around me, military type, right? It does not surprise me at all whatsoever that what you said is again factual. That after or sometime between the dates of 1928 and 1930, somebody got it in their head on the U.S. side. Hey, we're gonna put a base down there, and we're gonna call it McMurdo Station. Again, because Admiral Byrd, in his little diary, told them where it was at, told them all of the good things about portals, holes in the side of the ice, right? The ice wall opened up, right? We all know that story, Commander. You know what I mean? So let's talk. Let me go a little bit. Let me ask you this. You shared with me the United States side. That's the United States story.
Yeah, the reason for that is because Admiral Byrd was an American representing, the USA.
But what was the German story? Was it any
Well,
different?
The German story is that the Germans got there in 1938. Yeah, but it was called the German expedition to Antarctica. Well, saying it in English, from 1938 to 1939, and the ship left from Hamburg in Germany, and then went to Antarctica. And the public was told it was connected with margarine.
Okay.
But the real reason was to find a location in Antarctica, to build a permanent base, to build the Hannibals, and to set up a permanent community. And the reason is, well, firstly, because Antarctica is very remote. So it's a good place to have a base, sort of away from the general public, interfering. And the other reason is because it's one of the entrances, to Agartha. So anyway, they arrived, and then they saw that there was some tunnels and caverns already there, which had been built by the reptilians who had built it and then later had moved out. So it was, perfect, to build a base. So there wasn't really that much extra work to do because, the tunnels and caverns, which then became the rooms of the base, were already there. So it just then involved putting people there, to work and live there, having some furniture and some like catering and some, lighting.
Commander, let me ask you real quick. Are you saying that the reptilian race species was once in and or around McMurdo? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not talking about McMurdo. I'm talking about under Queen Maudland.
Ah, okay. See, I'm.
No, well, Queen Maudland actually belonged and still belongs to Norway, but they have luckily agreed that Germany could have their base under their land. And, sort of, we'd leave them alone to do their thing. And then, they'd leave us alone to do our thing. And it's been working, ever since. No, I mean, Antarctica is huge. It's a continent. So a base can be like thousands of miles away from another base.
Sure. Yes. Supposedly, it's like twice the size of the United States.
Probably more than that. Yeah.
I'm just telling you from what I know. I don't know very much about Antarctica. I don't. I truly do not. I only know what has been told to me. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna speculate. I'm just gonna say I've been told blah 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 blah, and I gotta go with it. I've never been there. Hell, I've never been off this planet, other than spirit. All right, so let's go over some facts here, okay? For those people that did not know, Richard Byrd was born in October 25th, 1888, in Winchester, Virginia. Don't find that ironic. Winchester, military guy. He came from a prominent naval family and developed a passion for exploration at a very young age. Fact number 2, here we go. The Antarctica exploration. Factual. We've got this on documentation. And that's the reason I'm going through this is because I want to compare this with Commander's story, which I'm not saying I don't believe her. I do. The thing is, again, I'm going to touch on her story as well as go over what 5 mythological things we've got about the origin of, the theory of Shambhala, as well as Agartha. Because again, we've got facts about Byrd and his exploration and all this stuff. But for some reason, man, shaking my finger. The Pentagon don't want you to know about Agartha. You're going to just leave that shit mythology, right? It's just a ho-ho. They don't want you to believe in that there was once technology or there probably. So let me ask you that, Commander. The technology in this beautiful place, right? What kind of things are there? What kind of things are down there?
Well, it's not actually as advanced as it sounds, because most of Agartha is like tropical. It's like, well, if you go to like a botanical garden on Earth, then it's really like a very big botanical garden. And as strange as it sounds, there's dinosaurs there still. And there's also, as we know, the woolly mammoth. So it's actually like going back thousands of years. So really, it's not an advanced civilization at all. I mean, one part that is advanced, of course, is, the Crystal City that Byrd went to. And also, even Shambhala itself is like going back hundreds or thousands of years, where you've got like classical architecture. If someone went there, they might think they were in ancient Rome or ancient Greece, or maybe in India, because it's a mixture of Greco-Roman, Indian architecture. So that isn't modern either. And the only thing that's advanced are the actual people and ETs who live there, who are like got superhuman skills. So the people as in the humans, would be those who use telepathy to communicate with each other, who know remote viewing, telekinesis, and possibly even levitation. And of course the ETs, would have those skills too.
Commander, let me ask you. Do you? I also want to touch on what Christopher just dropped in here. I completely agree with what he just said. He says, "What is a myth but a distorted version of a dream world equivalent?" I totally believe that because, like, again, you heard me mention the Hopi prophecy, right? And the sky
Yeah.
people. All of those Hopi prophecy are coming to fruition, whether we like it or not. I don't want to touch on the Bible, but biblical prophecy started out as mythos, and throughout the years, then we got the Bible, then we got all of these mythological stories were now teachings, and then teachings are coming to, again, they're coming to fruition. What I wanted to talk to you about was the connection, okay? Because it says, if I go through my description of what the Internet of Things know Agartha to be, let me read this to you. This is interesting. It says Agartha is also known as Agartha or Agarthian. It is a legendary city, and that it is said that it resides in the Earth's very core, according to certain esoteric belief. It's often associated with the concept of the hollow Earth theory, where a hidden civilization once dwelled or still dwells beneath the surface. The ideal of Agartha has roots to various ancient, ancient traditions and civilizations, and this mythological lore or mythos, which has been passed down throughout the ages. Like I just said, we know these stories, Commander, have been passed down, right? But they way predate any 1926 expedition that our dear Admiral Byrd took, or the German people took. These stories are passed on from generation to generation to generation to generation. You know what I'm saying? Okay, it says despite lacking the this is the kicker right here. Despite lacking the concrete evidence, Agartha continues, and yes, it's true, to capture the imaginations of thousands upon thousands of people worldwide who are fascinated by this mythological mystery, as well as unknown realms beneath our feet. Now, let's continue, because they're supposedly in Agartha, right? In this magical, phenomenal place, there is, you'd mentioned the Crystal City, right? Again, the Admiral Byrd's flying into. He's flying. Let's just take the journey for a second. So, imagine being in the plane, right? We're flying, and talk seriously, Commander. Talk us into that hole. As Admiral Byrd realizes that his plane was taken over, right, or he lost control of all the functionality of it, and it said, Admiral Byrd, what? We've got you. You're in good hands. Blah 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 blah. Can you finish that story for me, Commander?
Yeah. So what happened was that he noticed that his compass and gyroscope had stopped working, but because since he didn't have time to panic, because then he suddenly realized what was going on, because he could see German flying saucers, and then they were talking to him. So that they said that they were going to take him to their city, and they were going to land the plane for him. So they did actually land it for him, and then he got out the plane, and then they physically, took him inside the city. And then that's where he had the meeting, with the master. But I've actually got the timings of, regardless of whether or not the diary is factual.
Right.
Would you actually like me to read out the exact time when it all happened?
Sure, absolutely. Because
Yeah, I made some notes
yeah,
earlier.
please.
Right, so the actual journey to Crystal City took place on February the 19th, 1947. I mean, and according to the diary, it says from base camp Arctic, which makes it look suspicious
Oh
because it
yeah.
wasn't the Arctic, it was the Antarctic. So anyway, this is what he wrote in the diary. At 6 a.m., the preparations were complete. At 6:10 a.m., he was airborne. At 6:20 a.m., the fuel mixture on the starboard engine seems too rich. So already, there's things that are going wrong.
Right.
So at 7:30 a.m., he does a radio check with base camp, and all is well. 7:40 a.m., there's a slight oil leak in the starboard engine. 8 a.m., slight turbulence. 8:15 a.m., another radio check, and at that time things are still fine. At 8:30 a.m., more turbulence. 9:10 a.m., he sees ice and snow below, but he notices that it's not all white. As you expect in Antarctica, he sees that the ice and snow are in all different colours, and the colours that he can see are yellow, red, and purple. So things, are starting to be a bit strange.
Right.
And, he wonders why it is, but, well, he's not a scientist, so he doesn't know. So he thinks to himself, oh, well, I'll just write this down, and when I'm back, I'll see if anyone can tell me what this is all about. So he doesn't worry too much about it then. And also at 9:10 a.m., both the magnetic and the gyro compasses gyrate and wobble. 9:13 a.m., he sees mountains in the distance, which he expects to see. 9:49 a.m., he sees a range of mountains he hasn't seen before. And so this is strange to him because don't forget, this is his 4th time in Antarctica. So he knows the continent pretty well. At 9:55 a.m., there's strong turbulence. At 10 a.m., the valley is seen with a stream. And that's rather odd.
Right.
At 10:05 a.m., is when he sees the woolly mammoth that he first thought was an elephant. But, on getting a closer look, he could see it was a woolly mammoth. At 11:30 a.m., he sees, the German flying saucers. And he knows that they're German because he recognizes, the symbols on them. At 11:35 a.m., he gets a message to him, welcoming him, and he notices that the person speaking to him has a German accent. So at 11:40 a.m., they land the plane for him. And it's 11:45 a.m. is where several blonde men are approached. And then, that's the time when they escort him, into the Crystal City.
Let's talk on something for a second, because the moment you said that that Byrd recognized that it was a German accent, and that he's seen the bell-shaped craft, right? The moment that you said that, it triggered in my mind for everybody that's listening, really grasp what I'm about to tell you. Because that story, this is a naval military officer telling you in documentation, that my craft's compass started doing woo woo, and his plane was taken over by a bell-shaped craft, which said, "What, Commander? We'll land your plane." So that meant that Admiral Byrd in 1920, what? I can't.
This was 1947.
Okay, but I'm saying he was, okay, 1947, okay. But again, he visited the base here, made his first expedition between 28 and 30. So going back, there's parts that's not even documented. We just know.
Oh, well, the reason for that is because nothing unusual happened. So he didn't.
Yeah.
Well, he may have
No way.
written a diary.
Oh, he did. Look at you. You're reading it word for word. We've got this was a naval officer that documented every time he took a piss. He gave you hour by hour documentation of what he did. There's got to be missing things. I don't for a minute believe that this man went down there between 1928, 1930, and now you're reading me things from 1940, right?
1947, yeah.
Okay, 47. So I'm supposed to believe, or you're supposed to believe, that nothing happened? I personally know my government, and so do you. I call bullshit. Something's missing. However, let's just continue this. Let's continue the story. His plane was taken over, and it's documented fact, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Admiral Byrd. Don't touch anything. We got this handled. Just sit back, relax, and that's what he did. So I can't say we, but y'all, Third Reich, Fourth Reich, German, had the technology in 1947.
Well, a lot earlier than that, because the Germans had been on the moon since 1942.
Hold my beer. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, you're the one that changed the subject. Remember, you told me you were doing you were doing an interview, and you like the one guy's like, we were talking about this, and the next thing you know, we're talking about the United States. You changed the subject on me. Don't change the subject on me. Let's go back. We'll talk about the moon in a second. Go back to the technology, Commander. Where the hell did y'all get the technology between 1928, 1930, and 1947? Where did it come from?
Well, I know about the crashed UFO in the Black Forest in Germany in 1936. That was reverse engineered.
By who?
Well, whoever were the scientists.
Do you see my bottom
at that time?
Damn it! Did you see just see the bottom of my right hand screen? Did you see that pop up? We must be talking some pretty good juju, because my VPN just went boom. Okay. Reverse engineered technology in when? 28? Prior? I missed it because I'm watching my computer.
Well, the Third Reich didn't exist in 1928 because, Hitler came to power in 1933, didn't he?
Okay. So we're talking the German. I'm trying to think, because if they had the technology then to reverse engineer spacecraft from God only knows where, utilize it, the Ubuntu, right? Was it called the spacecraft, the bell-shaped spacecraft,
Well, the flying saucers are and were called Hanabus.
That's it, the Hanabu. That was the first one. So, do anywhere in that diary say documentation? See, here's the kicker. What's funny is I'm in Akron, Ohio. Do you know that Admiral Byrd's diary got submitted? We have that diary in the Ohio State. I'm sorry. Is it the Ohio State or University of Akron? It might be the University of Akron Space and Aeronautics Department. So I can probably literally get my hands on, like literally tangibly get my hands on parts of that diary. I'm thinking literally, Commander, that we are missing descriptive things. Do you see what I'm saying? Because in the diary, in Byrd's diary, unless the CIA, which we knows, okay, redacted, didn't share detailed information of what the hell had a hold of Byrd's plane. It never said, did it? But yet...
No, it didn't say in the diary.
No.
Well, not the version of it that I've seen anyway.
Right. So,
but the thing is, one thing that aliens can do is, well, certainly with UFOs, they can power the craft using telepathy. So a thought that I had, but this is my personal opinion, is that they took over the controls of Byrd's plane using telepathy.
That alone's blowing my mind. Because, well, here's the thing for people that might not know about you, is you communicate with your people south with telepathy, right? You were taught this, right?
Yes, well, we use telepathy and remote viewing.
That's it, remote
viewing. I mean, remote viewing is particularly useful for us because we've got so many bases in many locations. It's not practical just to keep traveling about from one to another. So if we want to know what's going on, so for instance, I'm sitting here now in London, England, as you know, and I want to know what's happening at our base in the Andromeda Galaxy. So I use remote viewing, through my third eye chakra. I don't have to actually physically go to the Andromeda Galaxy. So that is how I regularly, keep in touch with, what's going on there.
You see me kick my eyes up. Are you ready to talk about the moon for a second?
Sure. Go ahead, ask me.
Real or not real, Commander?
It's not a real moon, no. No, it's known as Lunar Operations Command, and it is actually was brought here, by the reptilians. And the thing is, a real moon, known as a celestial body, by astronomers, doesn't just, orbit round a planet, but while it's orbiting, it spins at the same time. Whereas our moon, it doesn't spin. So that is also a clue that it's not a normal moon. And also it's because of the appearance of it and the distance it is from the Earth. There's just too many oddities that don't add up.
You're literally everybody. Just for the record, we're literally speaking with a lady who knows this. Can you give it, because of the information you're giving us, right? Number one, I want to say, I guess I know she would not share anything that we're not allowed to know. Okay, she's not gonna give you top secret bullshit. She's not gonna blow smoke in your rear end. She's gonna give you what she knows and what she's allowed to give you. So
and some of the time it's, my personal opinion. And when it is, I'll start the sentence saying, well, in my personal opinion, and then say, what I'm going to say, like I've done a few times already, this evening.
Well, okay. Because you went to the moon with me, I seen in the chat where Socrates dropped in there that right here, and I'm not quite sure what he was talking about, other than just what it is, and that is right here. The technology was here, or was there long before Hitler come around. And question, he says, didn't President Eisenhower know something about this?
Yes. Yeah, he did. He had a lot of contacts, with ETs. And in fact, but since we respect him, I actually named our restaurant, I called it the Eisenhower Burger Bar, and it's one of our restaurants at the University of Atlantis South Pole.
Okay. All right. So here we go. I hope that they're listening on the West Coast. I truly, truly do. All right, my dear Commander, tell us all about, please, by all means. I don't have the beacon. I don't personally have the beacon image that I got. You got me and I got you. However, tell me about the school. Tell me about the school at South Pole.
Yes, well, we got the idea to build it in 2021. So say it took a few months because you've got the actual main building, where the classrooms are, and because Antarctica is famous for those pyramids, the ones that look like mountains. Since I'm the architect, I decided that the classroom building was going to be pyramid shaped and made of glass and steel. And I wasn't just inspired by the pyramid on Antarctica. I was also inspired by the pyramid at the Louvre, in Paris. So our one looks quite similar in design to that, but it's a lot bigger. So anyway, so that was the classroom sorted. And then because it's a campus like a normal university on Earth, and it's going to have students who are residential there and the tutors who are residential, then you needed the accommodation block. So I designed that, and that's all in one building. And then you need catering because, they're actually residential. So I designed the restaurants and the bar. So we called the first restaurant the Bavarian Alps. And, it won't be a surprise to you, it's German food. And then we wanted a bar, so we called the bar Prost. That's Prost. And Prost is the German word for cheers. You know, like when you've got a beer in your hands with your friends and you say cheers and you clink your glasses. You know, we called it Prost, as in the German for cheers. And then I designed the Eisenhower Burger Bar. So anyway, so that was all the food and drinks sorted. And then one of my colleagues suggested that we have a recreation area. So I said to him, yeah, great. Yeah, we'd do that. So then we built underground on the campus a recreation park. And it's recreation as in like skateboarding and rollerblading, or people can just really go for a walk.
Entertainment,
So
right?
and the inspiration for the design I got for the recreation park is similar to one that I found out about in New York City.
Are you guys
So anyway,
hearing this?
so
I'm just asking if everybody is hearing what she's throwing down. This is not the United States military base McMurdo. This is not South Pole Station. This is not any CIA, NSA, blah 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 blah. But this is a what is it? Is it a Fourth Reich German base?
yeah. Well, it belongs to us, but it's not actually a base. It's a university campus. So the students and the tutors live there for a year minimum. I mean, they can stay longer, but they have to pay. So each degree course is roughly around 1,000 US dollars, which is a bargain, because for $1,000 they get a complete course, they get their accommodation, and they get their meals as well. So really, it's dirt cheap. But the thing is that it's not as cushy as it sounds, because the thing is that a lot of people would find it difficult to actually live full time on like a campus that's in the middle of nowhere, because even though it's nice there and everyone gets treated well, it could, to some who aren't particularly mentally strong, feel like a prison, or like feel like they're in boot camp. And not everyone could cope with that, because they're actually banned from contacting friends and family. So I mean, so in a way it is like a boot camp.
I got a couple questions here in the chat I want to ask you, okay? Mr. Chuck McClellan says, I personally myself have no idea. Didn't Hitler deal with Antarctica aliens or make a deal with them? What do you know about that, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, the thing is that when Germany arrived in Antarctica, the aliens had already moved out. It was an empty base. The tunnels and caverns were already there with no one living there. But yeah, I mean, he did actually have contact with other aliens, the Agarthans, and also, what's known as the Vrilya, from the book, the Coming Race. Even though that was a novel, it was actually based on facts.
All right, Commander, I've got some more questions here coming at you. Trevor, I see what Trevor also. Really good question, Trev. Let's go to Socrates real quick. Socrates says, if asks if Commander knows anything about Valiant Thor And was he involved in Antarctica? I don't.
No, he actually was from planet Venus, and he went to America to help the Pentagon. So he spent a few months with them, and he was teaching them more about the Milky Way galaxy, but he also taught them a lot about real and about health issues, like how to balance your chakras and how to develop telepathy and remote viewing, how to live a long and healthy life.
All right, let's move to the next question here by Mr. Trevor Grassi. He says, so, because I wanted to ask for this question for a long time my own self. Trevor asks, he says, hello to everybody. School of Atlantis, huh? Same thing I did. Did I not, Commander? I'm like, how do I enroll in this? And he's been trying to get there for quite some time.
Well, the school is only available to citizens of the Fourth or Fifth Reich or ETs. But even then, it's not like any ET. I mean, only those who we're close to. And in fact, the headmaster is an ET himself. He's actually a tall grey.
Bah. My jaw just kind of like dropped. What? Say that again?
The headmaster of the University of Atlantis South Pole is a tall grey.
Okay, so here I got a question. Does the United States? I guess. Okay, I am going to derail you and go to the United States for a second. Okay, do we know what the hell is going on down there?
I'm pleased you mentioned that, because it's given me the opportunity to tell you that we got a close relationship with the McMurdo station. And I'll actually tell you how that came about, because after the university was built and we were going to open it, for the students and tutors to arrive, we did something that we later regretted, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. We actually switched on the beacon. And because it was so powerful, it actually caused a power outage to most of the continents. And then of course, it affected the other bases there. And because our neighbours were McMurdo, and they were subjected to the power outage, we had to go round there to apologise to them. And it didn't just stop there. We actually decided that since they were our neighbours, we'd try to some extent, be friends with them. So what we've been doing ever since is that at least once a week, we go round there with any leftover food and drink, from our restaurants, and give it to them for free. Because, we've also been a bit of an inconvenience to them, because I heard that, some of our citizens, just like walk through the base there without even, talking to the Americans or even explaining, what they're doing there. So, so we've apologized to them for that too.
Commander, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I'm not meaning to like throw any of our guys under the bus, but I'm going to, and that is this. From what you're saying, from the German side of things, you say we have a relationship with the United States. You also say that there's from now, this is what I'm getting, is that there are people from the McMurdo station that have came to your facility, right?
No, we went to theirs.
Okay, so they're aware. Okay, so they're aware of the Atlantean school.
Yeah, they're our neighbours.
That's all I wanted to hear. Okay, because that right there, thank you, Lisa. That right there makes me even angrier at my authority, and everybody else should be as well, because we are told absolutely nothing about the Germans having a base near McMurdo Station, the German Fourth Reich having a school of all things, and at number three, let's discuss this one. This school is an intergalactic school, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's right.
So, if our school, if our school is an intergalactic school, we know about. I'm saying the Germans, the Fourth Reich, Third Reich. We all know. We it's just mythos, but you all know about Shangri-La and Agartha. Let me ask you, Commander, why aren't we being told the fucking truth? Why are not we being told the truth?
Well, because it would cause panic. Because the thing about planet Earth is that humans are just living on the crust. Yet most of the planet is actually inside Earth. So, it would make humans feel not in control. That most of the planet that they regard as theirs is actually got others, living inside it and on it.
Commander, New Schwabenland, right? New Schwabenland.
Yeah.
Are there tunnels that go from New Schwabenland into the inner core that you know of?
Yes, that is actually one of the reasons why we moved there, because it's one of the entrances to Agartha. So, actually at Antarctica Base 211, if you're in there working, there's actually just a door you can open that leads straight into Agartha. And we've actually built a cafe just outside our base, which is actually in Agartha. And, we've given it the very appropriate name, Hollow Earth Cafe.
Unreal. Out of curiosity, I'm just, what's funny, not funny. Okay, I've known you for 2 years now. Is that right?
Yeah, not long, just about 2 years.
I don't believe that you are not telling me the truth. Okay, you've had many of other interviews, so I'm not gonna get personal. I'm not gonna give away your personal stories, but you have been you've definitely been called out. We had to we had to create you a Google account, to create you another Facebook account, because your ass can't keep a Facebook account. So you're obviously dropping realism that threatens somebody, right?
Yeah.
How in the world do we get out there for my people, for our people, the truth? I'm just asking you, how do I want to give them the truth? Okay, and it's like I seen up there, Trevor Grassi mentioned that Brad Olson, who we interviewed not even 3 weeks ago, we've had Brad on the show. I think it was about 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. I wanted Brad to really listen to you. I really wanted Brad, but I know Brad's a busy dude. He's got a shit ton of stuff going on. He's always moving. So I might even just like give him time frames and some other people time frames to look at this broadcast and go back and listen to what she's saying. She's giving you factual information. She's telling you that we are visiting McMurdo Station. They know about her. They know about my school. You're hearing what she's saying.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, even though I'm not a student at the university, I'm the architect. So, it wouldn't have happened without me.
Right there. Miss Fern says it right there. It's the same old shit. Sorry, I added the word shit, but it's the same old. We can't handle it. And I mean, I'm not saying this because of disrespect to you, Commander. I'm just saying it has always been this right here. Same old thing. It's always the human can't handle it. We can't handle to interact with ET. From what I understand, Commander, ET buzzed the White House. I mean, me and Brad talked about that. We got in 2017, not 2 days after my birthday, in 2017, I was excited. Oh, I was excited as hell because the Pentagon finally said, well, the video's out. What we're seeing here, we can't explain it. In fact, it's like, that's like a bad police chase. That's like a police chase gone bad. They get something on radar. Yeah, Houston, we've got a problem. We've got something in the air about altitude at 30,000 feet. Running. Don't worry about this. We'll intersect this. Yeah, okay. They get on. Then somebody's like, cell phone, and they're like, holy shit, we can't even chase this thing. We know about these things, Commander. You guys are teaching these beings. These beings are teaching in your school.
Yeah. We've actually got 3 universities now.
Oh.
So our first one was Antarctica that opened in January 2022. And because that was successful, we've now got a second campus, the University of Atlantis North Pole, which of course is at the North Pole. And our third one is on Silver Moon in the Andromeda Galaxy. So that's the University of Atlantis Eastern Campus. But we haven't got any plans to build any more. It's enough for us, or certainly for now anyway.
Let's shift. No, I'm not going to I don't want to derail you. We're going to prologue here into base 211. Okay, we're going to go into New Germany, right? Last time you have been there.
Last time I've been where?
New Germany, New Schwinland.
What you mean? Last time I went to Antarctica?
Yes, base 211.
Well, actually, the last time I was there was about a year ago. Because they wanted me to spend more time in the UK. I mean, one of the reasons for that, I was actually sent on 2 missions in the UK, one in London and one in Liverpool, as part of my minor role with our time travel research team.
Time travel research.
Yeah.
Time travel research.
So I went on 2 missions in England.
Do you mind if we go seriously? So it's your show. but I would like to, if you don't mind, backtrack to the last broadcast that you and I had. Okay. And
Sure.
we talked about what you just touched on.
Yes, that's
Time
right.
travel.
The last interview I did for you was on portals and stargates. So of course, that includes time travel too.
Now, I'm not wanting to pinpoint where you live. I'm not wanting to do that, but I do want to point out that not far from you, at a certain time, right? There's a if I'm not mistaken, a bridge or a church or help me out here, that turns into a portal or a stargate, some shit. Help me out, Commander. What is it?
So can you say that again?
What is it around you? Around your neck of the woods, around your area at home, somewhere. There's either a bridge or a church or something where there's a portal that exists.
Well, if you're talking about London, where I'm at the moment, there's more than one, because there's a bridge that comes down in the area called King's Cross. Is that the one you're referring to?
I do. That, yes.
Yeah, that's right. It is a bridge.
Okay.
But it only appears on certain days and at certain times, and those times are between 11 at night and midnight.
Let me ask you. There's a really good question too. Okay, so Daryl asks in the chat. You know what? Question I've never even asked her. Daryl asks how you traveled to base 211. Your method of travel.
Well, I actually use portals because I don't travel on a U-boat. And I don't think I'd really want to, because it's, rather claustrophobic, and it takes weeks, and it's meant to be rather smelly inside them. And even though I'm the designer of our new range of Hannibal UFOs, I don't actually travel in them. I just designed them.
I'm processing what you're saying, and I'm processing what you're saying, and I'm wanting to continue that one.
Oh, by the way, sorry to interrupt. I just saw the message from Christopher Peebles saying that I travelled in 1963. No, it was 1961 I travelled to.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I wish to God I had the... Now, whenever she sent me this years ago, around about one of the first or second discussions I had with her, she sent me, for a second, I'm like, what the hell are you sending me this for? She sent me, you'll laugh at this, we're talking about portals and technology, and how to get to Agartha, how to get to... She sent... No, can't make this shit up. She sends me a picture of a mausoleum in a graveyard.
Yes, that is one of the missions I went on in London. And yeah, it is actually a mausoleum in a graveyard. It's the Hannah Courtois mausoleum in Brompton Cemetery. That's an alleged time machine. So yeah, it's quite famous. So yeah, I went along there with another commander who doesn't actually work for us, but he's a friend, but he's involved with the Galactic Federation Council of Light.
See, they're right there. That one there is the woo-woo 168th dimensional doodlebot stuff. And I truly want to believe what you're saying to me. These things that you're saying, though, it's like they're so far out there that the human being really. You know this. I am really, really open-minded. You know this. But
Well, regarding the mausoleum, people, well, they'd have to either be in London or come to London, can actually go there and see it for themselves. They can go right up to it and touch it because there's not even a fence around it. I actually went up to it and touched it all the way around.
Oh man. Okay, Commander. Here. All of this is literally. All of this is definitely hard to wrap your head around. We've covered the inner Earth and Byrd's travel too. We've talked about Agartha itself. I want to talk to you about this. About the city itself for a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, again, this is just, and anybody can look this up. I went over 10. There's actual 10 facts that I printed out here to go over about Admiral Byrd, and she has covered every single one of them, literally, from Operation Highjump to, you know what? Let's talk about this one before we get to the city. Okay, do you mind? And that,
sure, go ahead.
And that is right after, if I'm not mistaken, right after the United States military went down there, did their expeditions, did their thing, shut Admiral Byrd down. We get into this bullshit about Base 211. If I'm not mistaken, the United States bombed. Me and Brad talked about this one too. They tried bombing Base 211.
Yeah, it's known as Operation Argos.
That's it. That is it. So my question to you is this: supposedly we got our asses handed to us in World War II, right? In World War II, the Germans kicked our ass, right?
Well, it was actually after World War II, because World War II ended in 1945, and Operation Highjump was 46 to 47.
Okay, so again, factual stuff. We were told World War II was very brutal, very bloody. I don't really truly believe that the United States has ever documented and released that we pretty much got our asses handed to us. I didn't know that. That was not talked about. We also know, us as Americans over here, we know that during that time, a lot of your scientists were traded over here. So I'm assuming from what I've got from you and all of the other whistleblowers that them scientists not only come over here and was part of Project Paperclip in the United States, but some of them went to South Pole. With that being said, hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. With that being said, did they go to Base 211? Did they go inner Earth? Did they go to the Crystal City?
Well, we had to have scientists at Base 211 because they were the ones who were actually building our Hannibal UFOs.
The German scientists, if I'm not right.
Well, particularly engineers.
These are also the methodology of travel to and from the moon, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is it portal system?
Yes. Yeah. We have a portal that goes to the moon and to Mars.
Oh man. I'm gonna ask you some. If you don't mind, I'm gonna ask you some questions up here out of the chat.
Yeah, actually, I saw one about my Planex Hannibal UFOs, as in how many have been made. To be honest, I don't actually know the numbers. I just designed them and then passed my design onto the engineers and just left them to get on with it. So I'm not certain how many they actually built, but I know couple of years later, they are still building them. And we actually moved out our 7 UFO factories from Antarctica to the Andromeda Galaxy.
You want to touch on this?
I think our friend already knows the answer to that.
There's another one. Is the moon halo? Is the name
Well,
of
the thing is that a halo is seen, because of the atmosphere, and also it's to do with the rays of the sun. So on certain days, the moon might appear reddish or bluish. I mean, that's not its real color. It's to do with the lighting and the weather conditions and the rays of the sun on the time of the year. So it's just illusion.
Miss Fern asks, the speech to text sucks right about now, Fern. But she says the navigation of a portal. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah,
since
sure.
Fern
Go ahead.
mentions this. How does the portal system even function? How does it work? The portal technology.
Okay. Well, most portals are actually those circular ones that you see in sci-fi movies. So the real ones do actually look like that. And to operate it, you switch it on and then it lights up. And then you punch in the coordinates of where you're going to. So and then you step through it. So then it takes you through a tunnel, and then you end up at the other end. So unless you've got the coordinates, you can't actually go to your location. So those who use the portals or stargates regularly, they know the code, off by heart.
We're shown this.
Oh yeah, the question from Tammy, what are the ships made of, what material? They're made of Clanax, and Clanax was invented by myself, and what it is actually made from is steel on the inside and white plastic on the outside. That's why suddenly the public are seeing all these whites coloured, flying saucers, which is pretty, unusual, because flying saucers are normally either silver colour or black. And you're probably thinking, well, why did you choose white? And it wasn't just to be different. I've actually got some valid reasons for that. One is that I was always a fan of the American space shuttle. So I recall that it had those white tiles on it that was meant to help in space to shield it from radiation. So that was one of my influences. And another reason why I chose white is because one night when I was asleep, I had a very vivid dream that I was in a field in England somewhere, in the countryside with my friend John, And John is a guy who does actually exist and really is a close friend of mine. He's not actually interested in any of these subjects, but apart from that, we're really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was in this field with him, like in the middle of nowhere, and then suddenly this white UFO turns up and lands in the field. Then, the hatch opens and the staircase comes down and these small greys come out and abduct my friend. And, and then because of the shock of it sort of made me wake up. And even though it was just a dream, when I met my friend John, I actually told him, about the dream. And I even apologized to him that, I'd allowed it to happen. So he was quite amused by that. So anyway, so it was a white UFO. So that I took it as like a message to me that I should design a white UFO. And that's exactly what I did. And there's someone I know, she was talking to me about UFOs, and then she started talking about building a model one out of Lego. And Lego is like that shiny plastic. So again, that made me think that my UFO should look like white plastic. But obviously, it couldn't just be plastic, so that's why I put steel on the inside.
Mr. Darrell asks if
Yeah.
these ships, right? These ships that we are seeing. I'm adding this, Darrell. Seriously, bro. Don't get mad at me for adding this, but I'm gonna add this. These ships that we're seeing in the sky right now, right? Are they anywhere remotely close to what you are aware of being built by and or ran by, controlled by, whether it be the Masters of Inner Earth, Agartha, Base 211, Fourth Reich? Who's controlling these ships we're seeing right now?
Well, obviously my main interest in owls, not just because I design them, but it's because it's, my job to prioritize, those. So, and owls are actually flown and piloted by 6 small greys using telepathy and hand pads. Because, because we're in the modern age, I was keen for us to use clean energy. Because, there's this policy called net zero. And, I'm all for that. And, I think ecology is, very important.
You're talking.
So I was thinking, well, how am I going to design it using clean energy towards the, the net zero goal? So then I thought, I got it. These are going to be powered by telepathy. So it doesn't get any cleaner than that. So that's what I did, and then it worked. But then I also found out it's nothing new, because America, like even as far back as the 1950s, like in Area 51 and near to there, they were also experimenting. Or could they fly their UFOs using telepathy? And I actually saw a testimony of someone who used to work there, and he was actually involved with that. And he said that it was his role to test this out. And he successfully managed, even though, he's human and not an ET, to pilot one of the Area 51 UFOs for 15 minutes. So even though it's not that long, it still proved that it could be done. But I understand it didn't get very far because none of the humans were mentally strong enough to power a UFO using telepathy long enough to actually go anywhere, in outer space.
Get back to Daryl's main question, and are there windows in these ships?
Yeah.
And
Yes, it has like little round windows, just like old style Hannibals, where you see those little round windows.
all right, Commander, if you don't mind me asking, because this one, I've often wondered this, and for anybody watching, stick with me for a second. You are the perfect person for me to ask this to, since you say that you have been part of Base 211, the engineering Hanabus, engineering these craft. Are they ready for this?
Yeah.
Do they have the ability to appear to us as clouds? Because we've all seen these cloud formations that look round. Absolutely huge, round things in the sky, and we are all told that these clouds are spaceships. So are they spaceships? Is it bullshit or is it real?
Well, they're not ours, the ones that are clouds.
What?
But we've actually been quite arrogant and show-offy. We're like so proud of ours that we fully show them, glowing white, in the night sky. We haven't even tried to cloak them. I mean, the only thing that we cloak is our University of Atlantis campuses.
Oh man. Chuck McClellan says or asks, is there any information on organic ships / engines and that are alive? And do they react to human contact? Good question, Chuck.
Yes, because in a way, ours are organic. Because if an ET or a human has to put their hand on a hand pad to power it, that then therefore makes it organic because they're using their body parts to pilot it. I see a question from Tammy. Can I remote view Area 51? Yes, I have done it. And that's how I know that they've got the Glocker locked up there, in a room, all by itself.
Let's go over this real quick, maybe, because Christopher's got a methodology of writing a shit ton of stuff. So let me see this. Christopher says brain waves are just radio waves inside of the brain. So technically, your brain uses electromagnetic waves to communicate with the ship's parts. Okay, the sound of hearing your mind as just a radio waves, and if you can use your mind and or rather use one mind through the transinductional devices of the human brain to manipulate other magnetic waves on the EMP spectrum, then we would be able to manipulate rocks with our mind and manipulate, let's go in and say physicality. We're a spaceship in time and space, so it's not really that difficult or that hard, he says. Pretty interesting statement. My girl Reezy's like, you guys got me subliminally going look around for spaceships over the canal. What that's funny. Commander, how do we, because here's the thing. You know who Dr. Stephen Greer is, right?
Yeah.
You know about this SETI organization, right? You know about that? How he teaches people to Om and chant and all this stuff and call in the UFOs, right? Do you know about this?
Yes, yeah, the CE5 meditation was actually invented by him, wasn't it?
It was. So I'm going to ask you, because I don't know, I don't like not like Dr. Greer. I just think a lot of what he is about, the dude would never, trust me, the dude would never be on this broadcast, no doubt in my mind, because number one, he would probably be afraid I'd be trying to throw him under the bus and call him out, when I would actually try to be picking his brain. I want to know why a lot of things in his life has transpired the way they have, and number two, why does my government consult with? Who the fuck is he that my government consults with, the dude? Is he bought and paid for? Is he seriously? I'm asking you, is this dude, he teaches ABCs over in DC and some of the baddest ass military on this planet how to communicate with these things. Who is this dude? Is he real?
Well, I've never worked with him, and I haven't actually met him or had a conversation with him. So I'm not really the right one to ask. But I can understand, why you're wondering about it.
I'm serious. I'm wondering if the dude is real. Because I know, again, this is a far stretch, but I don't remotely see how my own government goes to the dude to brief them. Commander, if I'm not mistaken, the dude briefs the Pentagon on how to communicate with these things, how to call them down. How do you call them down? I want to know how. How do I get myself there to get in the vibrational frequency to see Agartha? How do I get myself in the frequency to command these ships to come down so I can see them and interact with them? I mean, I know right now Stephen Greer, he wipes his ass just like you and I do. He ain't no better than you and me. So what makes him so special? What makes this guy so special?
Well, it's because he said that he worked for Area 51. So that automatically makes him of interest to people interested in anything to do with DUMBs or secret space programs, ETs, UFOs. And the thing is, people can watch him like on YouTube for free.
All right.
So we all want something for nothing. I mean, I love YouTube. So I watch, lots of different interviews, documentaries, movies.
I think you're okay. A lot like Chuck said. Chuck said she's got the wrong dude. Chuck says wrong dude. Yeah, let's not get mistaken, Commander. Greer did not work for Area 51. He had nothing to do with it. Stephen Greer had a career as a medical profession. That was he. In fact, he was if I'm not mistaken, he was an emergency trauma reactive surgeon. Okay. God only knows how much money. Well over $100,000 a year. And next thing you know, he goes from that career into, I'll just throw it all. I don't really know his story. I'll have to get it. But the way I believe it to be is, I just seen a UFO one day and I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell people about it. And then boom, next thing you know, he's like mainstream and talking to all of these people and trying to like bring them down and call them and contact them and stuff. Again, the dude was an ER doctor. All I'm saying is I'm wondering, what is the significance to people like him? What sets his ass apart from me, or from Chuck, or from Morgan, or from Tammy? There's got to be something, Commander.
Well, I've got an opinion on it.
Please, let me
Well,
have
maybe at one time he got abducted, so therefore got interested in UFOs and ETs.
Now that one's possible. Because a man
I
don't
mean, that is just my opinion.
something happened
We've-
in this life.
Yeah, because we've all got an experience that got us interested in the subject.
Very true. Yeah, Mr. Lee Grantham says, I love this comment. Antarctica, portals, remote viewing. We're all over the place tonight, bro. Yes, I love talking to her, man. I pick her brain all the time. Anytime I can, don't I? I love talking to you. The information you've got, I truly can probably find it on the internet, but knowing that you've got material out there, and I truly believe what you're saying is factual. I have no reason to not believe it.
Well, the thing about the internet, you might get the information, but it's a totally different kettle of fish. Actually speaking to someone who's got personal experience.
Oh my! Christopher wrote to make something now I'm gonna read this real quick. Christopher People says, so to make something a reality, you need to believe in it, feel it, think about it, and fully embody that reality. Otherwise, your perception might become unstable. You must align with both internal and external with this new reality, ensuring that no discrepancies. Consider how others might interact or react to this new reality. Fear other reactions can also hinder this manifestation. If they're open-minded enough like you, they might see it clearly, but if not, then their perception might be distorted. This goes with the portal tech that you went into in 1961, right? Others couldn't see this. Am I right? Or wrong? Could others interact with you?
I hadn't actually planned to go there. You know, I just found myself there.
That would be a shocker.
Mm.
That would be a shocker right there. Just walking down the street. How do you mind touching on that real quick? How did you just how did that happen?
In a way, it was sort of a bit like being teleported there. You know, just sort of finding yourself there. And then realizing that you were in London in 1961. And the thing is, it wasn't even this timeline. It was like an alternative London 1961. And because I noticed a few things that weren't right. Like, for instance, I was there in the morning. And, you know, I looked at the time and it was like 9 in the morning and it was still dark outside. So there's things like that which weren't right.
Tammy's got a good question. Do you see this? She says, but I thought you had to input coordinates. What is the difference between the portal system that you're talking about now versus actually just you found yourself there?
Oh, it's because I was in a alternative universe where there was another London and it was the 1960s.
The interaction, if you don't mind me asking, the interaction with that reality, tangible? Was it tangible?
Well, as in tangible, as in can I
Yeah, feel it,
feel it?
touch it.
Yeah, I was on a London bus, and on the bus, sitting behind me were three time cops, and I ended up getting into like a little argument with them because they were like talking in front of everyone, sort of classified stuff. And, I was absolutely horrified. And I was saying to them, what do you think you're doing? We were on a public bus and there's other people here, and you're talking all this classified information in front of everybody.
What would?
So then, they sort of looked at me and they knew that I was right, and they seemed to know who I was. And they sort of said, oh, okay then. And then they just kept quiet.
So they knew they knew who you were.
Yeah, because otherwise, they would be thinking, well, what do you know about time cops or time travel?
Well, you helped.
That they recognized me. I mean, I only recognized them because of what they were talking about. I could see immediately that they were time cops.
Barbara Borchers, who's a subscriber to the broadcast, a lot of these guys up here are asking some really, really good questions. She says, and with, I know, right? Parallel timelines? Huh? Do you mind? I don't even know what time it is. Let me see what time it is. We're almost at 2 hours. Do you think that you can smash in 2 hours? In we've got 10 minutes. Do you mind telling me and smashing into this discussion here? Parallel timelines. Can we touch on that?
Yeah, because the time that we're in now is just the time here in like in this timeline. But so there's also parallel universes where we exist, and also alternative universes. There's that famous story about that album by the Beatles. So as we know, the only Beatle, left in this timeline is Paul McCartney, and the Beatles split up in the early 1970s. So even if they're all still alive, there wouldn't be a Beatles anymore. But anyway, in this alternative universe, all four Beatles are still alive. And not only are they still alive, they're still actually making music together. So a guy ended up there and he actually got a copy of their album and brought it back to Earth, in this timeline, and then made it public. So that's how these alternative universes work, that we exist there, but we're in a completely, like different job. So say, for instance, you're single in this reality, or in another reality, you're married, with children.
I had to see. I'm rolling through some stuff here. Definitely, yes. All roads are covered with gold. Blah 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 blah. Reezy saying definitely yes. Stuff. We call that deja vu. Whenever we realize that we did something or we remember when we did it or interacted with it on a completely different timeline. That's an interesting point, Rebel. Yvonne Daniels says all of the answers that you need are found in God's word. I personally just disagree with that because I truly believe that your answers are found outside of God's word as well. There's hidden stuff in a bunch of the occult texts that a lot of these people won't even open. They won't open it. I mean, so being stuck in that one little book for education, I don't think that's very wise. That to me is ignorant. Being and reading in one book and saying that's it, that's all it is. It's literally just cutting your nose to spite your face, because there's a whole lot of other teachings, truth, outside of just that book. Commander, do you agree with that or not?
Oh yeah, I mean the Bible. It doesn't mention Agartha.
That's just
For
bullshit.
instance,
That's
the
mythology,
Shambhala.
baby. Mythology.
Mm.
Reese says Matthew asks about time. What? Matthew asks about time travel. My oh my. All right, we're catching up on 2 hours. How are you feeling? You want to go?
Well, before we close it for today, I'd like to mention my involvement with Shambhala.
All right.
Well, I actually designed the University of the Golden Pavilion, and it's a university for Buddhist teachings. And the design is similar to the Golden Temple in Kyoto, in Japan.
Go and dig down through here. You have your religions. Well, we're not going to get on the religious talk. There is actually no need to get into bringing religion and getting that shit involved in this. Getting involved.
But one thing, if you don't mind, I would like to mention about religion.
Oh
It's
God,
regarding
she's gonna go there.
No, it's regarding Shambhala, because it's accepted in Buddhism and also in Hinduism that Shambhala exists. And in fact, one of the entrances to Agartha and Shambhala is under the Patala Palace in Lhasa, Tibet, where the Dalai Lama used to live. And also in Hinduism, Shambhala is regarded as the birthplace of Kalki. But you'd have to ask a Hindu about that, because they know, a lot more about Kalki than me. So that's it from me, regarding religion, because it's relevant to Shambhala.
Well, let's toss this out there. Let me give you my opinion with a statement. My opinion with a statement is, I want to know what Christ taught, because he didn't teach Christianity. Let me see your all's answer in the chat. What did Christ teach? What was the religion that he taught? And go. All right. Commander, it was a really great time with you. I have had a great evening with you, and picking your brain, like always, is fun for me. There's many things that we can still go over that we have not went over. Do you agree with that? There's a lot of
Yes.
shit.
Well, going on the comments this evening, I think when we've both got time, it'd be beneficial if I came back and we had an evening devoted to time travel.
I would love that. I absolutely would love that. You write out seriously. You write out the talking points just like you come up with tonight's show. Your topic, your description, your broadcast. So if you would like to talk about time travel, that's obviously got something to do with, quantum interaction, spooky action at a distance type. Am I right or wrong? Maybe. Yeah? No?
Well,
Anything to do
time travel covers a variety of things. Not just portals and stargates that, we already spoke about, but time slips, for instance, time machines.
Interesting. again, you just let me know. You let me know. We'll bring you back. And again, I hope that God, there's some people on the West Coast that will reach out to me to get in contact with her. I truly believe that we're ready to hear and see every single thing that we are denied as a people. So,
Yeah, it's fine with me if people want to contact me on Facebook or on Telegram.
I will put you all in contact with the Commander. All you gotta do is ask. All right, man. Commander, say something positive to everybody before we get you up out of here. Please, please, please say something positive on your way out. And again, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Well, firstly, I'd like to thank you, Matthew, because without you, this discussion wouldn't, take place. And I'd also like to thank everyone who attended and asked questions. And, you've all been polite, which is nice. And thank you not for trolling or being abusive or having a narrow mind. We've had, some really great people here tonight, which is very refreshing. And, I'd be delighted if you joined me again. And also, listen to my previous interviews that I did for Matthew, and I also did 2 for James Rink of Super Soldier Talk.
Be an interesting conversation. Everybody thanks you for coming and being with them tonight. And again, you know this as well as I do. I love. Larry Hawkins says that we've got an interesting table of people, and we do. I literally love everybody up in here. All of the diehard Christians to the portal creators to the 186 dimensional doodle bots. I don't care what they believe. I love them all too, and that's what makes us all again just fit at the table. And that's it. I appreciate you very, very much, and thank you for being with me and letting me pick your brain.
Yeah, you're very welcome, and thank you for having me and inviting me.
All right. Good night to you. I'll catch you another day, another way, Commander.
Yeah, good night to you and to everyone else, and have a lovely weekend.
Absolutely. Alrighty, my friends. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What are you thinking? What do you say? Wow, ha, ha. Oh, shit. Tonight was a really interesting talk. That was live, by the way. We took a journey to Agartha and Shambhala with Commander Anu. I know her as Alima Yasmin. She is absolutely, I love talking to that lady. As you heard me say and her say, it does not matter. Your belief does not matter. It's to you. Take right here. You, the essence of you. You believe what you want to believe. Be how you want to believe. Love one another. Just simplistic as that, man. It's not that hard. Take care of one another. Love one another. You know what I'm saying? And again, as far as the disclosure goes, all of you that love to pay attention within the ABC category, I hope to God you literally listened to what she said. And with that being said, come on, man. There's no reason why you guys should not be like blowing this girl's computer up trying to get a hold of her. Seriously. Should be blowing up her computer trying to talk to her. Ask her more about Agartha, about the McMurdo station. There we go. ABCs, all of you that know that we're interacting with these beings, okay? All of you that know and don't say anything, come on, man. What kind of shit is that? Oh, wait, you signed an NDA, didn't you? Man, I need to find that piece of paper so I can wipe my ass with it. Throw it away, man. We are ready. We are ready as a people to know what's going on. That is where I stand, and I'll always stand. We absolutely deserve to know the truth. So it starts there. It starts with you. the mind, the matrix mind, just without you questioning things, right? That's how you got here, questioning things. Don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. With that being said, Berniac, take care of yourself. Have a great weekend. I have no idea what the hell Monday is going to be in store. What we're going to be talking about, I have no clue. But however, you guys take care of yourselves. I'll catch you up here on Monday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock West Coast time. You guys, love you guys. Peace out. Take care of each other as well as yourself. Good night to everybody. Crank this shit up on the way out of here, Brainiac. Peace. We're out of here. I love you. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Let's do this. One of the fastest growing talk shows on the internet. Radio show. Welcome aboard the Matrix Minds. One of the most controversial conspiratorial shows on the web. The Matrix Minds. And that's right. Buckle up, everybody. Let's go. Paranormal, huh? Conspiracy, huh? Ufology, hidden Egyptology, and anything and everything we can get our hands on. Let's go. Welcome aboard. The Matrix Minds. The Matrix Minds. Your show.
Take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole is. All I'm offering is the truth. Nothing. Stay in Wonderland. All I'm offering is the truth. Nothing. Stay in Wonderland. All I'm offering is the truth.
Matrix Minds audio backtracks by Richard Roller from Victoria, Australia. All your audio needs, audio creation, audio editing for the podcast, for movies, outright music creation, touch-based productions. Contact Richard Roller at richardroller007@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, Austin here with Colorado Custom Game Calls. Are you looking for a game call for your upcoming season? Are you looking for something unique? Are you looking for a gift for the hunter in your life? Well, look no further. We got you covered. At Colorado Custom Game Calls, you get to put your own twist on these calls. Whether it's waterfowl hunting, big game hunting, predator, or turkey, we got you covered. So be sure to hit us up on our Facebook and Instagram or on the web at coloradocustomgamecalls.com.
What is up, all my beautiful and gorgeous souls? I am Michelle Espinosa, otherwise known as the Shaman, through the Matrix Mind Media. So tell me, how many times have you wished that you had that special power of prediction? You know, to know what was going to happen before it actually happened and took place. To have some power and control over that situation before things came flying at you out of left field. The thing is, you actually can have that power. You can be aware of what's coming. Tune in to Astrology TV with me for Breaking the Cage. Every Sunday evening at 10 p.m. Eastern on the Matrix Mind Media. And I will go through the astrology and help put you on the right course and get you back in control of your own life. Love you guys.
This CBD fluid is a whole flower fluid extracted from the cannabis flower. We don't use any heat, butane, or chemicals when we extract, so we get all of the components of the plant. All the CBD, CBG, CBA, all the terpenes, all the flavonoids. This allows our body to absorb at 60 to 90% rather than the average of 6 to 10% absorption you would get with a CBD oil. Because our bodies are made up of mostly water and this is a fluid, it's highly absorbable so that you're getting 500% more nutraceuticals per dose. We also have this available in our CBD spray as well as a muscle rub with all kinds of botanicals. You're going to absolutely love it.
Check it out, Brainiacs. MatrixMinds.live/CBD. The CBD I use. Feel free again. Feel alive again. You guys, your own self. Let me say something. You guys, your own selves. You all so deserve. You guys deserve your own little standing ovation, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. Without you, I want to share this. I'm not gonna get emotional on this, but because there's only a few of you guys that hang out with me here at the end of the show. But I will say, and I want to say right here, I want you guys to know that we here on this broadcast absolutely adore, love, and support our men and women in uniform. So number one, I'm going to give credit to them for even having the damn freedom to be able to say what I want to say, when I want to say it, how I want to say it. So with that being said, shout out to every single one of you that have been through the mill. You guys know exactly who I'm talking about. Those of you that have been in that military family. I'm from a military family. I know how hard it is to deal with it. So I want to shout out to you guys. I appreciate you. Let you know that you're not alone, or you're not alone. Going on into, again, you guys, without you smashing that subscribe button, being part of the family, being part of the broadcast, we could not do this without you. So again, thank you guys for everything that you do. Thank you for being you. Without you, again, we would absolutely go nowhere. So just be proud of yourselves, Brainiac. All of you subscribers, we're getting there. We're getting there. Almost there. Take care of yourselves one more time. Peace out. Good night, everybody. Ow!